As we make our way back upriver, you may be curious about the type of vessel we're cruising in. Traditionally called bumboats or lighters, these barges were used to transport cargo from ships anchored offshore near the mouth of our Singapore River to the warehouses along the river as early as 150 years ago. In 17th century Europe, they were first used as scavenger or dirt boats to carry rubbish. But some scholars have also agreed that the word bumboat means exactly as it sounds, a ship's bottom, or a smaller boat pandering to larger ships. In Singapore, though, bumboats are also called tonggangs, from the Malay name given to the timber used to build them and used for transport between islands. Bumboats are also referred to by the Chinese as tuakos. These boats probably originated in Singapore, with hulls developed by the local Chinese. Hokkien tuakos are the most colorful, with orchids painted bright red, green and white, while Teochew tuakos were painted a solid red. Now, if you're thinking that the bumboats look like they have eyes painted on them, you're not wrong. According to Chinese legend, these boats were designed by a crafty Chinese emperor who was not in favor of foreigners interfering with his expeditions. So he had eyes painted on his boats to ward off evil and to symbolize good luck. It's also believed that the eyes enable bumboats to see and guide passengers on board safely to their destination. So whether you believe in legend or superstition, we can all agree that these colorful, distinctive boats are certainly eye-catching. Did you know that bumboats all but disappeared from the Singapore River during a massive cleanup of our waterways in the early 80s? However, they made a triumphant return to the Singapore River and were given a new lease of life as pleasure craft by Singapore River Cruises. From a humble fleet of just 4 bumboats, that number has grown steadily to preserve our river's charming heritage. In 2006, Singapore River Cruises championed the environmentally friendly cause by creating the world's first electric bumboat. In fact, this very boat we're cruising in is part of our electric bumboat fleet. As we'll soon be saying goodbye to what remains of a bygone era of life along the Singapore River, perhaps you'd like to hear a little more about the rich past. From the southern part of the island, these river waters truly thrum with the lifeblood of Singapore. You've heard a few stories of the early days, how the Singapore River transformed from a sparsely populated swamp to an important port for merchants and traders who docked their boats and built their businesses along the riverbanks. The Singapore River flourished into a busy, overcrowded port and became home to an ever-growing community whose livelihoods depended on it. The Singapore River was where our first immigrants toiled hard to start their new lives. On your right is Boat Quay and its stretch of colourful, quaint shop houses. It was completed in 1842 and is Singapore's very first quay. At its peak in the 1860s, Boat Quay handled 3/4 of Singapore's total shipping business. The sheltered riverbanks made excellent loading and unloading places. Back then, the whole river was chock-a-block with thousands of boats transporting a whole myriad of goods to be traded by the merchants who had set up shop in that row of buildings on the bank. Some of those goods included seafood, spices, and rubber. The precious cargo was shouldered across gangplanks by immigrant laborers known as coolies, whose blood, sweat, and tears formed the very backbone of our nation's rise to prosperity. Wonder why all the shop houses are concentrated on just one embankment of Boat Quay? Well, legend has it that the Chinese immigrants chose to set up home only on the south bank of the river. You'll notice how the riverbank curves just like the belly of a carp. In Chinese culture, this majestic fish is an auspicious symbol of good fortune and a great place to store wealth. These first immigrants believed that this part of the Singapore River was where prosperity and wealth could be found. That's also why many banks and businesses started up here and eventually developed this area into our current central business district. Where once boats lined the water's edge, today the banks of Boat Quay are lined with shop houses turned into restaurants and pubs. The facades of the Boat Quay shop houses have been retained, and their unique architectural styles give the district a distinct flavor. Notice how the shop houses are of varying heights? Long ago, this signaled the owner's wealth. In other words, the higher the building, the wealthier the owner. Perhaps these traditional beliefs have extended till today. Just take a look at the tall skyscrapers of Singapore's financial district towering over the Boat Quay shophouses. This is the perfect place for snapping pictures, so enjoy the 360-degree views and drink in Boat Quay's unique blend of traditional Asian values set against a modern and progressive backdrop. See how the shophouses form a charming contrast of Singapore's developing years against the skyline of a new Singapore. This truly is a uniquely Singapore sight. By the way, are you feeling hungry? Hawkers and their pushcarts used to line the riverbanks, selling local dishes that were cheap and delicious. A bowl of Teochew porridge cost only 10 cents. Better yet, side dishes were free of charge. Every day, the people who worked and lived at the river would eat at these pushcarts, sitting on little stools along the river banks. Perhaps that was how al fresco dining got its start in Singapore.
Above your hand.
There's all the waters over there.
Directly ahead is Captain Woody, completed in 1969 and named after Colonel Sir William Arthur Kavanagh, Singapore's last governor. It's Singapore's only suspension bridge to have retained its intricate original form. It was manufactured in Scotland, then shipped to Singapore later to be assembled. Unfortunately, the bridge was built too low, and boats had to wait for low tide before they could pass. So look out and don't forget to duck as we cruise under the bridge. Just kidding. Coming up on the other side of Cavanagh Bridge, you'll see a group of little boys jumping into the river. Don't worry about jumping in to save them. They're actually incredibly lifelike bronze sculptures showing a scene from the river's past, where children would stand and wave cheekily from their houses. Very often they would take off all their clothes and jump in for a cool afternoon swim. Standing tall and majestic is the exclusive Fullerton Hotel, which blends the elegance of old world charm with every modern convenience. Built in 1928, lots of paper pushing went on behind the hotel's splendid columns before its glamorous makeover. Its facade is a masterpiece of neoclassical grandeur, which belies its much stuffier original occupants, the Chamber of Commerce offices and the General Post Office, from which mail was transported along the Singapore River to and from ships. Since the 1950s, this was also the site of many political campaign rallies, but even longer before that, it was occupied by Fort Fullerton, built to defend the town at the mouth of the Singapore River. This promontory to your right used to be home to the Merlion, Singapore's half-lion, half-fish icon. The Merlion stood guard here at the river mouth for 30 years before it was hauled by barge to its new home in the bay in 2002. As we make our way out into Marina Bay, you'll be able to see the Merlion for yourself and hear all about its story.
只要所说的。
As promised, up next is Malayan Park, home of the original Malayan statue. To understand our unique national emblem with the lion head and fish body resting on a crest of waves, here's a quick history lesson. Singapore was originally known as the ancient city of Temasek, which means sea town in Javanese. But according to legend recorded in the Malay annals, Prince Salimila Utama named it
Merlion.
Singapore, meaning lion city in Sanskrit, after he spotted a lion on its shores. The lion's head represents the lion spotted by the legendary Salimila Utama, while its fishtail symbolizes Temasek and Singapore's humble beginnings as a fishing village. Measuring 8.6 meters high and weighing 70 tons, the Malayan sits on reclaimed land looking out to sea. She attracts millions of visitors a year who make the trip to Malayan Park to photograph this world-famous icon of her new home right here in scenic Marina Bay. Take a peek behind the Malayan and you'll see a baby Malayan. Believe it or not, its scales are made from pieces of porcelain repurposed from spoons, bowls, and plates. Next to the Malayan and her cub is a luxurious lifestyle dining and waterfront hotel hub known as the Fullerton Heritage that blends exciting futuristic projects with the older colonial landscape of Singapore.
Daddy, with Daddy.
To your right is Clifford Pier, which was built in 1933 as a landing point for immigrants hoping for a new future in a new land. It was also once known as Red Lamp Pier because legend has it that a red oil lamp used to hang from the pier as a comforting guide to weary seafarers. Mindful of its rich historical past as a bustling trading post and gathering place for food lovers and entertainers, Clifford Pier has been carefully conserved and now serves as the lobby of the Fullerton Bay Hotel. And beside it is Customs House, a charming conservation building from the late 1960s, which began as the Customs Harbour Branch building, one of Singapore's earliest modern-style public buildings.
Daddy, how do you
As
stop
Singapore's shipping
this?
and trade
Fountain.
grew, it became the home of the Singapore Customs and Police, tasked with watching over one of the world's busiest harbours. Further up you'll see the magnificent Marina Bay Financial Centre, which sits on prime waterfront real estate at the heart of Singapore's new downtown and is an expansion of the Central Business District. Arguably the crown jewel of Marina Bay, this purpose-built financial center combines the best in form and function, blending office towers, luxury apartments, and retail space, making it one of the hottest places to live, play, and work, as befitting Singapore's position as a global financial, residential, and entertainment hub. It's also part of the 3.5-kilometer Marina Bay waterfront promenade, which has become a popular scenic footpath, especially since this walkway boasts several unique design features. You can look forward to an uninterrupted experiential walk or jog around the bay. Do find time to explore the promenade, which links the landmarks of this beautiful bay area, including Marina Reservoir, Marina Barrage, and Gardens by the Bay. Also located along this fascinating waterfront walk is the Marina Bay City Gallery, which showcases the story of Singapore's urban transformation and the development of Marina Bay. Don't miss its touch-activated exhibits and innovative city model, offering a bird's-eye view of key landmarks in Marina Bay, which will help you navigate the Bay Area.
Daddy, too.
As we cruise around Marina Bay and begin making our way back down the Singapore, have a look to your right at a Singapore landmark that really needs no introduction. It's the iconic Marina Bay Sands Integrated Resort, featuring a casino, hotels, and convention center, world-class entertainment and retail shops, all housed within award-winning architecture that resembles a ship atop 3 towers.
Don't forget
Notice
your
also
cup.
the palm-shaped Arts and Sciences Museum and the unique Helix Bridge.
Get off
This
the boat.
280-meter engineering marvel has been modeled after the structure of DNA and was inspired by the Asian concept of
Daddy,
Yin-Yang,
Daddy.
built to bring wealth, happiness, and prosperity to Marina Bay. This bridge will also link you to another awe-inspiring attraction, the Gardens by the Bay. Spanning 101 hectares, this award-winning super park is home to over 250,000 rare plants from all over the world. Enjoy the lush outdoor gardens, huge climate-controlled dome conservatories, and the towering futuristic super trees, which you can even see from this distance. They're essentially vertical gardens, measuring up to 16 stories high and linked by suspended walkways with stunning views of the entire park. Living up to their name, the super trees also collect rainwater, generate solar power, and are venting ducts for the park's conservatories, which encapsulate the cloud forest and flower dome. Do you notice that the water here is very calm? This is due to the Marina Barrage, which is a dam built across the 350-meter wide Marina Channel. It keeps out the seawater to create Singapore's first reservoir in the city, a vital source of fresh water and flood control. The Marina Reservoir is Singapore's 15th reservoir. It has the largest and most urbanized catchment area at 10,000 hectares, or 1/6 the size of Singapore. Just imagine, we're now literally floating in drinking water, perhaps the very same stuff flowing out of your taps. Cruising out into the bay, you couldn't have missed the giant wheel in the sky. That is the Singapore Flyer, a skyscraping observation wheel that measures 165 meters tall, that's 42 stories high, and 150 meters in diameter. That's about the length of 87 Singaporean men lying head to toe. The wheel carries 28 city bus-sized capsules, each allowing up to 28 passengers, which means that at any one time, the Singapore Flyer can transport 784 passengers per revolution, which takes about 32 minutes to complete, rotating at a smooth speed of 24 centimeters per second. This engineering wonder provides breathtaking panoramic views of Singapore and the islands beyond. In fact, from on board, you can see up to 45 kilometers away. That's 3 kilometers more than the entire length of our island city. You'll also notice to your right 2 curious spiky domes unique only to the Esplanade, theaters on the bay. Because of its resemblance to the king of fruits, it's been affectionately nicknamed the durian. But no worries here. Quite unlike its pungent namesake, the Esplanade Theatres on the Bay attracts hordes of hungry culture vultures eager to taste of its many blockbuster productions. As the region's premier performing arts and entertainment center, it boasts superb facilities, showcases world-famous musicals, and features popular homegrown events like the Mosaic Music Festival. And to really top it all off, the Esplanade's breezy rooftop garden offers up more unrivaled views of the city and Bay Area.
But this is the blue water. How is it that cute?
Hey.
The green area to your right was once lined with lovely European-style houses that brought to mind the fashionable elegance of London's Mayfair. No wonder the Esplanade was a popular place for European settlers to see and to be seen. Back in the old colonial days, they would emerge from their houses to stroll along the Esplanade every afternoon. Here they would enjoy the sea breeze, exchange gossip, and perhaps even indulge in a little innocent flirtation. As a nod to our colonial history, Queen Elizabeth Walk was opened within the Esplanade Park in 1953 to honor the coronation of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. If you have the time, this path will take you on a pleasant, meandering walk through the park to other interesting national monuments. The bridge straight ahead of us is Anderson Bridge, named after Sir John Anderson, yet another governor of the Straits Settlements. This elegant arch displays an excellent combination of intricate plaster and metalwork, whilst its curved structure provides high resistance to bending force, which comes in really handy since it supports the heavy weight of vehicles stepping back and forth daily. As a gorgeous contrast to the skyscrapers that now mark the Singapore skyline, just look to the right and you'll see sitting grandly before us three beautifully preserved buildings that commemorate Queen Victoria, the Empress of India. The Victoria Theatre and Victoria Memorial Hall, which features the clock tower, are both historical monuments dedicated to the performance arts. Right next to them is the Empress Place building, which was constructed in 1907 entirely by convict labor. Previously known as the government offices, the Empress Place building is now also a national monument and home to the Asian Civilizations Museum. The Asian Civilizations Museum is a treasure trove of history and culture that will introduce you to the world of Asian traditions. The museum features over 1,600 treasured artifacts in 4 themed geographical zones and includes a Singapore River gallery dedicated to the history and people of our beloved river. Be sure to check it out for an even more intimate picture of the things you've seen and learnt on this river cruise. Up ahead and to the right, over on the museum steps, an enchanting series of sculptures tells the story of the Singapore River's development. Meet our nation's pioneers, coolies, merchants, traders, and financiers, all immortalized in beautifully cast bronze. There are many other surprising sculptures that dot the Singapore River Promenade, and if you decide to take an exploratory walk, we promise you won't be disappointed.
正常多少啊？係咯，正常我4成，係咯，真係啊！頭先我100啊，係咯，好水學點解啊？都未冧咯。嗰個冧呢度，講下呢度嗰啲唔識印度嘅，因為上去嗰神倉度可以一齊去睇下欣賞下嘛。神倉度可以得唔欣賞嚟講？
Over on the right bank, you may have noticed a fine fellow cast in blinding white plaster. Englishman Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles, the founder of modern Singapore. The statue marks the spot where Sir Raffles is thought to have first landed in Singapore in 1819. Back then, Singapore was only a sleepy little fishing village, but Raffles saw enormous potential due to our location along the main shipping route between India and China. After signing an agreement with Singapore's then ruler, Sultan Hussein of Johor, Raffles set about establishing a trading post and free port on the island for England's East India Company. He developed a town plan, drawing up residential, administrative and commercial districts along the riverbanks of this budding island city. The large building we're passing on the right was Singapore's first courthouse, after which it became Parliament House until 1999, when the new Parliament House was developed just next to it. What is that strange disc hovering over Parliament House? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a UFO? Don't worry, what looks like something out of a sci-fi movie is actually part of the Supreme Court of Singapore. Now this is Elgin Bridge, named after the then Governor-General of India, Lord Elgin. Fittingly, the bridge served as a link between the Indian merchants on the north side of the river and the Chinese community on the south side in the days of our colonial past. We're now approaching Coleman Bridge, named after its Irish architect, George Drumgold Coleman, for his invaluable contributions to Singapore's development. Appointed the first superintendent of public works in Singapore, Coleman brought with him an architectural style known as Palladian, a combination of Greek and Roman styles adapted for our tropical climate. And there you have it. We followed the full circle, traveling from the heart of Singapore and along its vital, vibrant lifelines. Thank you very much for joining us on the Singapore River Cruise. We trust you've enjoyed your journey on the world's first environmentally friendly electric bumboats, and hope you tell all your friends and family about this unique experience. We'd love to show them around too. So until next time, from all of us at Singapore River Cruise, we wish you a lovely and unforgettable stay in Singapore.
知啊，半年嘅半年啊，你9年啊，你半年無去，第年無去啊，咩人你去啊，千年去，
我一礼拜了，我了人家关起关
你你得半年，第年無去。
在他你個嚟他講過你又用，你嗰邊唔會，
你冇錯啊，即係影相。